Hi guys, it's Mrs. Tucker. I wanted to give you some hints on this take-home quiz, this evaluate problem solving with rationals. This is so important that you guys do this, especially the first four, because the lady that writes these questions is the same lady that writes your STAR test. And so these multi-step questions are what you can expect on STAR. So if we get you ready for these kind of questions now, you're going to be good when we take the STAR test in April, okay? So I wanted to give you some hints on how to go about solving these, because some of these are really tough questions. I think they're tough for 8th graders. So let's get started. Here's number 1. Sean puts 1/2 of his monthly allowance in savings. He spends 2/5 of his allowance on game rentals, and he uses the rest to buy snacks. If he spent $375 on snacks last month, how much is his monthly allowance? Okay? And I can look at these answers, and if he spent $375 on snacks and he's, put these kind of parts into other things, I know the answer cannot be A. It's going to be one of these. Okay? So through this unit, to help us with our fractions, we've been using these models. So I'm going to let the length of this rectangle represent 100% of Sean's allowance. Now the first thing says he puts half into savings. Well, it's real easy to divide that bar in half. So 50% of his allowance, okay, if this is $0, then this length out here is 100% of his allowance. And I've just shown where half went into savings, okay? Now it says he spends 2/5 of his allowance on game rentals, which would look like this. If I took the length of the entire bar, which represents his allowance, and broke it up into 5 equal pieces, then these 2 red pieces represent what went into gaming. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move these around and get rid of those leftover pieces to show you what's already been spent. Half went into savings, 2/5 went into gaming. Guess what this little piece left over is? Yeah, the rest went to buy snacks. And how much did he spend on snacks? $3.75. So I know that this size piece represents $3.75. I wonder how many of that size piece fits into this entire bar. Because if I had, here's $3.75 plus another $3.75 plus another $3.75, and I took it all out, all the way out to the length of this bar, then I could just add them all up. Okay? I'm going to give you guys a hint. Try looking at common denominators, and then that'll help you figure out what his total allowance was. Okay, on number 2, the energy of a particle is 4.82 joules. Okay, we're going to represent the energy in this particle by this bar. If this particle loses 0.15 joules of energy every 30 seconds, what will its energy be after 6 minutes? Okay, well, here is, I'm going to represent this as a loss of 0.15 joules in 30 seconds. And then another loss of 1.5 joules in another 30 seconds, so we're up to a minute. Can you see what we're going to try to do here? Yeah, hint number 1. How many groups of 30 seconds aren't in 6 minutes? That would be your first step. And then, isn't repeated addition the same as multiplication? Yeah, when you figure out what the total energy loss is, then subtract that number from the energy in the particle, the 4.82. This is a 3-step problem. Your answer, your units are going to be in joules. Number 3, Ted works 30 hours a week at Pizza Express. He earns $7.50 an hour plus 55 cents per delivery. If he made 32 deliveries last week, what would be his total earnings for the week? And they want you to fill in your answer right here. Okay, so his earnings, is the $7.50 an hour for the 30 hours he works. You got to figure that out first. We're going to add that to 55 cents for delivery, 55 cents per delivery for 32 deliveries. You got to figure out that part, figure out this piece, figure out this piece, add them together, and you've got your answer. Now, because it's money, you have to round your answer to the what's place. Yeah, so if you need to take it out to the thousandths place, do that. The number in the thousandths place determines whether the number in the hundredths place stays the same or rounds up one. This is a 3-step problem, and your answer will be in dollars. But you can't put that symbol in here. We're just going to write the dollar amount in here and then bubble in below. Okay, number 4, cheerleaders sold 22 brownies and 45 cupcakes during their bake sale. The brownies sold for $1.35 each. Cupcakes sold for $1.95 each. If they spent $35 on supplies for the bake sale, how much profit did they make? Okay, well, here's a very important definition. All businesses run off of this definition. Your profit, the dollars you put in your pocket, is your revenue, how much money you brought in from whatever it is you sold, minus your expenses. Okay? If I have a lemonade stand, say I spent $5 on lemonade and cups, and let's say I made $20 revenue. To figure out how much money you put in your pocket, you got to take the $20 revenue and subtract the $5 in expenses. That means I got to put 15 bucks in my pocket. So, to figure out your revenue, you're going to take the amount of money that you made off of cupcakes, highlighted here in yellow. You know what to do there. You're going to add to it the amount of money you made off of selling cupcakes, right here. I hope I didn't say cupcakes over here. I hope I said brownies. I meant brownies if I said cupcakes. Figure out the amount that you made off of cupcakes, and then add the $2 amounts together. Okay? Money made from brownies plus money made from cupcakes. Here's one step. Here's 2 steps. Adding them together is your 3rd step. Now, expenses. It says if they spent $35 on supplies for the bake sale, well, they told you what your expenses is. Okay, you just have to bring that number down. Your 4th step is to subtract that from this total up here. Okay, and your answer is in dollars. All right, here's 4 extra, much easier questions. It's just practicing your computation skills with fractions, and all of these answers need to be in fraction form. It says a recipe for ice cream calls for 3 1/3 cups of heavy cream. If Steve wants to make 2.5 times, there's a clue word, the normal amount, how much heavy cream should he use? What are we doing here? Adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing? Yeah, right there's your clue. And remember, with these mixed numbers, before you can multiply tops times tops and bottoms times bottoms, what do you have to do to both of these first? Yes, change them to improper first. Change them both to improper fractions. Number 6, 1 bag of potting soil contains 8 1/4 quarts of soil. Here is that 1 bag. How many clay pots can be filled from 1 bag of potting soil if each pot holds 3/4 of a quart? So out of this 8 1/4 quarts of soil, I'm going to put 3/4 in this pot, and I'm going to put 3/4 in this pot, and I'm going to put 3/4 in this pot. What are we doing here? Yeah, we're dividing into equal shares. So this is a division problem. We're taking 8 1/4 and dividing it into 3/4 size servings. How many servings do you get? What's your hint here? What do you have to do first? Change your mixed number to improper, and then you're going to flip the second fraction and multiply, or you can do that little division fish we were talking about. Number 7, Suji has 2 pictures that she wants to put beside each other in a frame. One is 3 1/2 inches wide, and the other is 5.5 inches wide, how wide must the frame be to fit both pictures? Is this addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? What we're wanting is this total length here. Yep, that's what you're doing. And set it up this way. And don't forget you have to have common denominators before you can add these two fractional pieces together. Last question. Ned pours 7 2/5 ounces of water from a beaker containing 10 1/4 ounces. How much water is left in the beaker? There's a clue word. What are we doing here? Is this addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? Yeah, that's a subtraction problem. Okay, so you'll set it up like this. Adding and subtracting, you have to have common denominators. Your units here are in ounces. Let's go back. Your units here is going to be in inches. Let's go back. Don't forget your units. Your units here is going to be pots. How many pots will it fill? Let's go back. Units here is going to be what? Cups. Yeah. Good luck with this, guys.